Walk into almost any Costco in America, past the TVs, past the furniture, past the bulk groceries, and somewhere near the back of the store, you'll smell it. Rotisserie chicken. Golden, hot, fully cooked, and priced at $4.99. Not on sale, not discounted, not for a limited time, just $4.99. That price hasn't changed in decades. Through inflation, through supply chain crises, through rising labor, feed, and transportation costs. And here's the strange part. Costco doesn't make money on that chicken. In some years, it actually loses money on it. So the question isn't how Costco sells a $4.99 chicken. The real question is, why would a $250 billion company deliberately sell something at a loss and keep doing it? Because this chicken isn't food, it's strategy. Let's start with what this chicken actually is. A full 3-pound rotisserie chicken, seasoned, cooked, ready to eat. At $4.99, it's often cheaper than a raw chicken at most grocery stores. And Costco sells more than 100 million of them every year. This isn't an accident. In retail, there's a name for this kind of product. It's called a loss leader. A loss leader is an item sold at little profit or even at a loss to pull customers into the store. Once they're inside, they buy other things with margins. And Costco's rotisserie chicken is one of the most famous loss leaders in modern retail. Costco's former chief financial officer, Richard Galanti, confirmed this openly. In multiple interviews and earnings calls, Galanti stated that Costco was willing to absorb $30 to $40 million a year in lost margin just to keep the chicken priced at $4.99. Not because it's profitable, but because it's powerful. Here's what most people miss. Costco doesn't measure success the same way other retailers do. Most grocery chains live and die by product margins. Costco doesn't. Costco makes most of its profit somewhere else: membership fees. In recent years, Costco's membership fees have generated billions of dollars annually, often accounting for the majority of the company's net profit. The chicken doesn't need to make money. It just needs to get you through the door. And notice something else. The rotisserie chickens are never near the entrance. They're placed at the back of the store. To get one, you walk past electronics, clothing, household goods, snacks you didn't plan to buy. By the time you reach the chicken, your cart is rarely empty. This isn't coincidence, it's design. So yes, the $4.99 chicken loses money, but it fuels something much bigger. Because Costco isn't selling chicken, it's selling a reason to shop. And to understand just how far Costco is willing to go for that reason, you have to look at something no other retailer dared to do. They built their own chicken empire. To keep a $4.99 chicken alive in a world of rising costs, Costco realized something critical. It couldn't rely on the market. Chicken prices fluctuate wildly. Feed prices rise. Labor costs spike. Processors pass costs downstream. And when prices rise, suppliers protect themselves first. So Costco made a radical decision. They didn't negotiate harder. They didn't switch suppliers. They became the supplier. In 2019, Costco quietly opened a massive poultry complex in Fremont, Nebraska. Not a warehouse, not a processing partner, a fully integrated operation. This single facility included a hatchery, a feed mill, a processing plant, long-term contracts with local farmers, all controlled or coordinated directly by Costco. The goal wasn't expansion, it was control. By vertically integrating its chicken supply chain, Costco reduced exposure to market price swings, supplier margins, shortages, and bottlenecks. According to industry analysts and reporting by Forbes, this structure saved Costco roughly 35 cents per bird. 35 cents may sound small, but when you sell over 100 million chickens a year, that's tens of millions of dollars. Walt Schaefer, the former CEO of Lincoln Premium Poultry, the Costco-owned subsidiary running the Nebraska facility, was clear about the purpose. This wasn't about maximizing profit. It was about price stability. Costco wanted to guarantee supply, control costs, and protect the $4.99 price, no matter what happened in the market. This wasn't cheap. Costco invested hundreds of millions of dollars up front. They took on operational risk, agricultural risk, labor risk. Most retailers avoid this. Costco embraced it. Because once you control the supply chain, you control the price. So the $4.99 chicken survives not because it's cheap to make, but because Costco engineered the system around it. And yet, even vertical integration doesn't explain the full paradox. Because the chicken isn't just about cost control. It's about how humans think when they shop. At this point, you might think the chicken is just a math problem, costs minus savings, margins versus scale. But the real power of the $4.99 chicken is psychological. In behavioral economics, there's a concept called price anchoring. The first price you see becomes your reference point. Everything else is judged relative to it. When shoppers see a full hot chicken for $4.99, their brain quietly concludes this store is cheap, even when many items inside are not. This is crucial. The chicken feels like a bargain, a cooked meal, no prep, no effort. Psychologically, it feels worth more than $4.99. That gap between perceived value and actual price creates trust, and trust lowers resistance to spending elsewhere. Now remember where the chicken is located, at the back of the store. To reach it, shoppers walk past dozens of high-margin items. Retail analysts call this the walkback effect. You come in for one thing, you leave with 10. And because you already won with the chicken, additional spending feels justified. Here's the final layer. You paid to be here. Costco's membership fee creates a psychological need to get value. The chicken reinforces that feeling instantly. It silently says, you're smart for shopping here. And when shoppers feel smart, they spend more. Retail behavior studies consistently show that loss leaders paired with membership models increase basket size and visit frequency. Costco's own financial reports show lower margins per item, higher total spend per customer, exceptionally high renewal rates, often above 90%. The chicken doesn't just sell food, it sells confidence. Costco didn't accidentally price the chicken at $4.99. They engineered it to feel unforgettable. Because once a customer trusts your prices, they stop questioning the rest. So now we know the truth. The chicken is vertically controlled, strategically unprofitable, psychologically powerful. But there's a darker side to this story, one that sparked lawsuits, investigations, and public debate.
Every extreme efficiency has a shadow, and the $4.99 chicken is no exception. As Costco doubled down on scale, control, and price stability, critics began asking an uncomfortable question: what does cheap really cost? In 2023 and 2024, Costco faced a class action lawsuit over its rotisserie chicken labeling. The claim? That Costco advertised the chicken as having no preservatives while using ingredients such as sodium phosphate and carrageenan. Costco's defense was precise. These ingredients, they argued, are used for moisture retention and texture, not preservation in the traditional sense. The case did not claim the chicken was unsafe. It challenged consumer interpretation. And regardless of outcome, it highlighted something important. When prices feel too good to be true, people start looking closer. Then there's the supply chain itself. Animal welfare organizations, including the Humane League, have criticized poultry operations linked to large retailers, Costco included. Their concerns focus on rapid growth chicken breeds, crowded housing conditions, and the physical stress of accelerated production cycles. Costco has responded by committing to improved welfare standards and participating in industry discussions around reform. But the reality remains. Extreme scale requires extreme efficiency, and efficiency always involves trade-offs. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If Costco priced the chicken higher, say $6.99 or $7.99, most of these debates would be quieter. But the $4.99 price is symbolic. It's a promise. And breaking that promise would mean breaking trust. So Costco holds the line, even when costs rise, even when scrutiny increases. Which brings us to the deeper question. If this strategy is so effective, why doesn't everyone do it? On paper, Costco's strategy looks simple. Sell one product at a loss, make it up elsewhere. In reality, very few companies can survive doing this. Costco's greatest advantage isn't scale. It's predictable cash flow. Membership fees generate billions of dollars annually before a single product is sold. That revenue is stable, recurring, and largely immune to day-to-day retail volatility. This gives Costco a luxury most retailers don't have: the ability to treat products as tools, not profit centers. Costco also enforces strict internal rules. The company caps margins on most items, often around 14 to 15%, far below typical retail markups. Executives are evaluated not on margin expansion, but on member trust and renewal rates. That's rare, and it changes every decision. Most companies chase optimization. Costco chases consistency. They'd rather earn less per item than risk breaking the psychological contract with customers. The chicken isn't optimized, it's protected. Other retailers have tried similar tactics. Most failed. Without massive scale, vertical integration, membership revenue, and extreme operational discipline, loss leaders become just losses. Costco can absorb the hit. Others can't. The $4.99 chicken isn't a pricing trick. It's the surface expression of an entire business philosophy, one built on trust over margin, systems over optimization, and long-term loyalty over short-term profit. So now the paradox is clear. The chicken survives not because it's cheap, but because everything around it is engineered to support it. And in the final section, we'll answer the last question. What does this teach us
Not about Costco, but about how successful systems actually work.
At this point, it's tempting to say the lesson is simple. Sell something cheap, get people in the door. But that's not the lesson. In fact, if you tried that alone, you'd probably go bankrupt. Costco understands something most companies don't. Businesses don't win by maximizing each transaction. They win by optimizing the entire system. The $4.99 chicken works because it's supported by membership fees that fund patients, vertical integration that stabilizes costs, low-margin discipline that protects trust, store design that increases total spend, and a culture that prioritizes loyalty over optimization. Remove any one of those, and the chicken collapses. Most companies chase clever tactics, flash sales, dynamic pricing, short-term margin boosts. Costco does the opposite. It commits to boring consistency. The chicken doesn't change price to react to the market. The system changes to protect the chicken. Here's the part that's hardest to copy. Costco is willing to look inefficient in the short term to be unbeatable in the long term. Losing tens of millions a year on rotisserie chickens is acceptable if it strengthens a relationship worth billions. This is the real lesson. Great businesses don't ask, how do we make money on this product? They ask, what role does this product play in the system? The chicken isn't food, it's a signal, a promise, a proof of trust. And that brings us to the final question. Not about Costco, not about chicken, but about how you see value. The next time you walk into Costco and you smell that rotisserie chicken, you're not just smelling dinner. You're smelling a strategy that's been refined for decades. That chicken survived inflation. It survived supply chain chaos. It survived rising labor and feed costs, not because it's cheap to make, but because Costco decided it was too important to lose. Most people think value is about price. Costco knows it's about trust. When customers trust you, they forgive slim margins, they renew memberships, they come back again and again. The $4.99 chicken isn't a loophole, it's a philosophy. One that says, play the long game, protect the system, and be willing to lose small to win big. Because in business and in life, the most powerful strategies often look irrational until they work.